welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we're going to be talking about how to avoid getting scammed when applying for a job on cruise ships. But before we get started, please press like and subscribe for more cruise ship content, and if you have any questions or video suggestions you can DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew, or you can leave them in the comments down below and I will be sure to get back to you. But as for now, let's get into the video. 6 months ago, I didn't even know that you could get scammed applying for a job on board cruise ships. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are posing as cruise ship recruiters and are successfully scamming people out of their hard-earned money. So after watching this video, I hope that you will be able to spot a scammer as opposed to an actual cruise line recruiter. I don't want you guys getting scammed out of your hard-earned money. That's just awful. And honestly, nothing breaks my heart more than when someone's emailed me and says, I'm really excited, I've got this job on board cruise ships, and I have to say, actually, I'm really sorry, but you haven't, because I think this is a scam. Because obviously you've just probably lost a load of money and you've just found out that this dream that you're really excited about isn't going to happen. Prevention is better than cure, so that is what we are going to strive for today. So the easiest way to spot that you are being scammed is that they're going to ask you for money very early on. If you apply for a job on a cruise ship and it's legitimate, you apply online, they get back to you and they organise an interview with you, you have the interview, you get the job, fingers crossed. Then if you need to do any training for the job, they're going to organise that training. But they're not going to ask you for money for your medicals, for your training, whatever. That is going to come much later. But what a lot of these scam artists do is they are asking you for money very early on. You've applied for the job online, maybe they've even conducted some kind of fake interview, and then they're telling you you need to hand over $200 for the medical, $200 for the training, $500 for the flight, whatever. You need to pay up all this money. That just doesn't happen. And also, if you are required to pay for something like your medical, a lot of the times what the cruise line or the agency will do is say, okay, well, when you get on board, we will deduct the cost of your medical from your first salary. And if you ask any agency or any cruise line that, they will say okay. So if you're talking to someone and you're like, I'm not sure whether you're a scam artist or not, that's all you need to say. Like, okay, well, I can't afford to pay for my medical and the training now, so can you just deduct it from my first salary when I get on board? If they say no, it's a scam artist. But they are very clever, because they say you need to pay for the STCW, you need to pay for the medical, you need to pay for this visa. So they've got all of the right lingo. But the thing is, until you've been given a ship, a cruise line is not going to tell you to get a medical or tell you to get an STCW, because, for example, I have been on ships for the last 5 years and I only did my STCW training before I went on Virgin. I didn't need to do it for Royal Caribbean and P&O. I was allowed to do that training when I was on board. So the point is, you don't always have to do STCW training for every cruise line. Same with a medical. There are so many different types of medicals and every cruise line requires a different type of medical. So there's no point saying you need to hand over this money for this medical, because if you haven't been allocated a ship, then how do they know what medical to charge you for? If you are being asked for money, the best way to test if they are legit or not is to say, well, can you please deduct the cost of the visa, the STCW, the medical from my first salary when I am on board? Everything is moving really fast. As I have said in previous videos, getting on board a cruise ship is a very long process. It can sometimes take 6 to 8 months, because it takes a while to get the visa, to get the medicals, to do the training, and of course there has to be a space for you to fill on board the cruise ship. So if you are talking to a recruiter and everything seems very rushed, you need to do this, the money needs to be handed over, everything just seems incredibly rushed, that is a red flag. In every cruise ship application scenario I have had and my friends have had, it's all been very slow, very, I'm not going to say relaxed, because it is stressful having to get visas and stuff, but you know what I mean, like there isn't a real rush. It happens when it happens. So just bear that in mind. If you are being rushed and everything is on fast forward, then it's probably a scam. This is a side note for you. Do not apply for any job through a Facebook link or a social media link. If you see an advertisement or maybe you get an email about a job opportunity, make a note of the company that is in that email or in that advertisement, and then look for it in a separate search window. And if it is a legitimate company, then their website is going to come up and you can compare that to the advertisement on the other tab and see if they line up. However, if you apply through a Facebook ad, you are going to be taken directly to the scammers page. Now, not all Facebook ads are scams. I know cruise lines do advertise on Facebook. However, most job opportunities are going to be found on job websites, LinkedIn, Indeed. I've emailed a few of these recruiters just to find out what I can, and they've all said the same, like they're not on Facebook. If people want a job through them, then they have to find their website. You have to do your own research. So if it all comes to you a little bit too easy, it probably is too good to be true, and you should do your research before giving all your details to this company. With all the technology now, it's become ever so easy for anyone to make a really legitimate looking website. So sometimes when you do go on these websites, it's really hard to tell if it's legit or not. So the best way to tell is a legitimate company is normally going to have 2 or more phone numbers listed. So if they only have one, that's a bit of a red flag, but I would give it a ring, because normally on these scam pages, they don't use actual phone numbers. So if you actually call the number, you're probably not going to get anyone on the other line. However, obviously if it's real, then you will get someone. So if you're unsure, you could always send it to me and I'll have a look, but just call the number and see if anyone answers. Correspondence between you and a scammer is usually going to be in bad English, poor grammar. There's going to be a lot of spelling mistakes and it's just not going to look very professional. Now, obviously, this isn't for definite, but this is a red flag. Everyone's allowed the odd spelling mistake, the odd missing full stop. But if it's, on the dodgy side, then they're probably a scammer. If the person you are talking to from this company is using an email address that is jake@yahoo.com, jake@hotmail, then it's probably fake. Recruiters are going to have the company name within the email address. For example, Lucy at Virgin Voyages, Lucy at Harding Retail, Lucy at Steiner Leisure. Whatever company they're supposedly working for, that company should be in the email address. I would say those are the main things to look out for when you are applying for a job. If it seems too good to be true, then it probably is. To get a job on a cruise ship, you are going to have to do your research into the recruiters, into the companies. So if you get emailed about this dream job and you're like, oh my God, it's come to me, it probably hasn't. It's probably a scam and you should avoid it, or at least research it before you hand over your details. And just do me a favour and do yourself a favour. Do not hand over any money. There are people who have got in contact with me and told me that a recruiter has said, well, you need to pay to do this training and then you might get the job, or they're charging you before they've even given you a job. That doesn't happen if it's legitimate. You would get the job and then you would be charged for a visa, a medical, an STCW training, but that is going to be a long way down the line. And also, most of the time with these legitimate recruiters, you get your own shit. Like, you are going to get your own visa, you're going to get your own medical, you're going to get your own STCW training. Like, obviously they're going to tell you what you need to get and they're going to maybe give you some names, but you are going to organise it. So if they're saying that they're going to organise it for you and all you need to do is hand over loads of money, that just isn't the case. That's not really what happens. So please don't get scammed when applying for a cruise ship job, because as I said, there's nothing worse than thinking you've got your dream job and actually you've just lost £600 to a scam artist. So yeah, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And if you are thinking that you're involved with a scammer, you're not sure, you can always DM me on Instagram and I will try and help you out. But as I've said, if they're asking for money or any of these red flags that we've gone over, it's probably fake and you shouldn't give them anything. Don't give them any details, don't give them any money. Protect yourself. But anyway, I really hope you have enjoyed this video, and I really hope you find it helpful, especially as the travel industry starts opening up again. I know a lot of you are applying for jobs, so hopefully you can use this advice and not get scammed. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.